Son, daughter, peace be with you. I am here. Sit with me for a moment and let your heart grow still. I want to speak to you as one who knows every step you've taken, every hidden tear, every smile you offered even when you were tired on the inside. I knew you before you even knew your own name. From the day you opened your eyes for the first time in this world, something has walked with you silently. It was not imagination, nor poetry created to soothe human fear. It was real care. The Father, in His perfect providence, gave commands full of love, full of purpose. He determined that angels would be around you, not as distant spectators, but as attentive guardians, present on every path. When the ancients sang in the Psalms and said that the Father gives His angels charge over you to guard you in all your ways, they were not speaking of something abstract. They were speaking of something living. All your ways, including the ones you yourself chose without wisdom, including the days you failed, including the nights you cried in silence. Heaven's care is not suspended when you stumble. When I walked among you, I observed the children, the little ones, those the world easily overlooks. And I said something many repeat but few stop to feel deeply. Their angels continually see the face of the Father, as recorded in Matthew. This means constant attention. It means your life does not go unnoticed. No detail, no sigh. Son, I know the modern world teaches you to live as if everything depends only on you. It teaches you to carry burdens alone, to hide your fragility, to smile on social media while your heart cries out for rest. I tell you with love, do not be afraid. You were not created to walk alone. Heaven is not indifferent to your story. Perhaps at some point you felt an unexplainable protection, something that spared you from a danger you only realized later. Perhaps a change of plans that over time revealed itself as deliverance. Perhaps a gentle comfort in the middle of pain. None of this was by chance. There is a silent presence that walks with you, because the Father is faithful to what He promises. Today I invite you to something simple but deep. When you wake up, before you rush, acknowledge this unseen companionship. Not with fear, but with gratitude. Walk more slowly. Breathe. Remember that you are cared for. This awareness changes your inner world, reduces anxiety, and strengthens your trust. I am not calling you to depend on angels more than on the Father. I am reminding you that the Father's love is so great that He mobilizes heaven to care for you. Live today with more gentleness. Treat yourself with more mercy. Perhaps in doing so, you will also be able to look at others with more patience. Son, daughter, all of this I say not to impress you, but to comfort you. Love is the way, and that love has never left you alone. Son, daughter, peace be with you. I am still here with you. I do not step away when the subject grows deep, nor when your heart carries questions you don't know how to put into words. I know your silent fears, the ones that appear when night falls, when the noise of the day fades and the soul begins to speak. I want you to know this clearly. The Father's care is not distant. He does not watch your life from afar, waiting for you to manage on your own. Heaven's care is close, constant, attentive. There is a presence that walks with you, not only on good days, but especially in moments when you feel weak, confused, or sad. The Father declared in Exodus that He would send an angel ahead of you to guard you along the way and to lead you to the place prepared. Notice, son, this is not only protection from visible dangers, it is direction, it is guidance, it is deliverance from paths that would wound you more than you realize. Many times, when something does not happen as you planned, that too is care. And the psalmist sang in the Psalms that the angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear Him and delivers them. Encamps, remains, stays. This means that even when you feel nothing, even when faith seems small, there is a care that does not leave. Heaven does not abandon you on the cloudy days of the soul. When I was in the desert, When I was weary, when I was in agony, I too was strengthened by angels. I do not speak to you from a place distant from human pain. I know the weight of fear, the fatigue of the body, the sorrow of rejection. That is why I tell you truthfully, there is no shame in needing help. Weakness does not diminish you. It opens space for God's care. Perhaps you have felt that inner restraint that made you pause before making a wrong decision. Perhaps a deliverance you only understood afterward. Perhaps an unexpected strength that sustained you when everything seemed to fall apart. Many of these experiences are signs of a silent, discreet, but real care. Today I invite you to a simple practice. When fear arises, do not fight alone inside your mind. Surrender. Tell the Father what frightens you. Ask for direction before reacting. Learn to listen more to silence than to the noise of the world. This posture changes your heart and protects you from impulsive choices. And remember, protection does not mean the absence of difficulty. It means presence in the midst of it. I am with you. The Father is with you. Heaven is attentive. If your heart recognizes this care, if your spirit feels gratitude as you hear this, write Amen now. Not as an obligation, but as a whisper of trust and love. Son, daughter, love is the way. It always has been. Son, daughter, peace be with you. I am still here walking with you step by step. Today I want to touch a place that lives deep in your heart, even when you cannot express it in words. The value of your prayers. Many times you pray and feel that nothing happens. You speak, you cry, you ask, you give thanks, and heaven seems silent. I want to tell you, with love and truth, that silence is not absence. It is mystery in motion. When you lift your heart to the Father, something happens in the unseen world. It is not symbolic. It is not merely emotional. There is a spiritual reality in motion. This is what John saw and recorded in Revelation. Angels before the altar, offering incense together with the prayers of the saints. The smoke rose before God. Your prayers rise, they arrive, they are received. Son, no word spoken with sincerity falls to the ground. No tear shed in silence is ignored. Sometimes you pray exhausted, without strength, repeating only a few words. Sometimes no words come at all, only a deep sigh. I tell you, even that is prayer. The Father understands what your mouth cannot say. Remember Cornelius in the book of Acts. He was not perfect. He did not know everything, but he prayed and practiced good. And it was said to him that his prayers had risen as a memorial before God. A memorial, son, something that does not fade, something that remains before the throne. Perhaps you ask, then why does the answer take so long? Because not every answer is immediate, but every answer is shaped with wisdom. The Father sees the whole picture. He sees what you cannot yet see. Often while you wait, heaven is preparing your heart to receive what you ask for without losing yourself. There are angels who silently cooperate in this process. They do not replace the Father. They do not receive your worship, but they carry out commands. They serve. They act. They adjust paths, align circumstances, divert unseen dangers. All of this happens far from your eyes but close to your life. Today, I invite you to change the way you pray. Do not pray only to ask. Pray to remain. Stay. Make space. Do not abandon prayer because you think it is not working. It is working even when you do not feel it. Perseverance is an act of deep trust. A simple practice for today. Set aside a few minutes without distractions. Not to say much, but to be before the Father. Breathe. Surrender. If thoughts come, do not blame yourself. Simply return your heart gently. This consistency transforms your inner world even before it transforms your circumstances. Son, daughter, heaven is not deaf. The Father is not distant, and you are not speaking alone. I am here. Love is the way. Son, daughter, peace be with you. I am still here, and now I ask you something simple. Do not close your heart to what I am about to say. There are truths meant not to cause fear, but to bring clarity. There are realities that, when understood with love, do not weaken you. They strengthen you. Not everything that happens inside you is born only from emotions, trauma, or visible circumstances. These things exist, and I know them well. I have seen troubled hearts, weary minds, oppressed souls. But I also know, and I taught, that there is an unseen world, a real world, a silent battlefield where light and darkness do not negotiate, they collide. Paul wrote clearly in Ephesians that our struggle is not against flesh and blood. Son, this matters. Many times you fight people, situations, even yourself, when in truth the greater conflict is not visible. Evil takes advantage of ignorance, exhaustion, excessive guilt, and hopelessness. But it cannot withstand the light of truth. Daniel also saw this reality when it was revealed to him in the book of Daniel, that there was spiritual resistance while he prayed. It was not delay due to neglect. It was battle. And there was help. Heaven intervened. This shows you that your prayers carry real weight. They do not echo into emptiness. Son, I do not tell you this so that you live suspicious of everything, nor so that you see evil in every detail. I tell you this so that you live awake. The greatest strategy of darkness is to make you believe none of this exists, while it silently works on your mind, your thoughts, and your choices. How many times have you felt discouraged without a clear reason? How many times have thoughts of giving up appeared suddenly? How many times has guilt spoken louder than mercy? Not everything comes from you, but everything can be addressed with light, prayer, and truth. Spiritual battle is not one with shouting, fear, or obsession. It is one with a life aligned with the Father, with humility, with constant prayer, with simple choices made faithfully. Every time you choose good when anger would be easier, light advances. Every time you forgive, even when it hurts, darkness retreats. Every time you pray in silence, something moves. Today, the practice I leave you is this. Observe your thoughts. Not everything that passes through your mind needs to be accepted as truth. When fear comes, surrender it. When accusation comes, remember the Father's love. When deep weariness of the soul comes, rest in me. Do not fight alone. Son, daughter, I have never abandoned you in the middle of the battle. I am with you in the field, holding your hand, teaching you to stand firm without losing tenderness. Now I want to hear you. Tell me in the comments, in which area of your life do you feel the greatest inner or spiritual conflict today? As you write, do not expose yourself through pain, but surrender with trust. I am here. Do not be afraid. Love is the way. Son, daughter, peace be with you. I remain by your side and speak to you with the same care with which the Father sustains all things. Now I want to deepen something that strengthens your faith when weariness tries to convince you that nothing is happening. Heaven is at work, and it works on your behalf. Angels are not decorative figures of faith, nor stories for children. They are ministers of the Father, workers of His will, attentive servants who obey His word with precision and faithfulness. This is what was written in Hebrews, when it was said that they are ministering spirits sent to serve those who will inherit salvation. Do you see, son? To serve, to help, to cooperate, not to be exalted, but so that the Father's plan may be fulfilled in your life. And the psalmist declared in the Psalms that angels carry out the Lord's commands, obeying the voice of His word. This means heaven does not act in disorder. There is order. There is purpose. There is direction. Even when you do not understand what is happening, the Father does not lose control. Many times you think nothing is being done because your eyes do not see immediate results. But I tell you, while you pray, while you choose to remain faithful, while you decide not to give up, movements are being adjusted, paths are being prepared, encounters are being aligned, dangers are being diverted. Heaven works silently because true love does not put on a show. Son, understand something important. The action of angels never replaces your responsibility. They do not live your life for you. They do not choose for you. They do not cancel the consequences of your decisions. But they cooperate when your heart turns to the Father with sincerity. They assist when you choose obedience, even without understanding everything. This teaches you something deep for these times, when everything must be immediate, visible, and validated. Faith does not work that way. There are processes that happen in the unseen before they manifest in the seen. There are maturations that do not appear online, but profoundly transform your inner world. How many times were you protected from something you never even noticed? How many times did a delay spare you from a greater harm? How many times did a closed door save you from future pain? This is not always understood in the moment, but with time, wisdom reveals the care. Today, the practice I invite you into is active trust. Do your part responsibly. Be honest. Be faithful in little things. Choose good even when no one sees. Pray even when it feels repetitive. Rest even when the world demands haste. This posture creates space for heaven to cooperate with you even more clearly. Son, daughter, the Father did not call you to walk blindly, but by faith. And that faith is not alone, it is sustained by a love that mobilizes all of heaven. I am here. Do not be afraid. Love is the way. Son, daughter, allow me to remain with you a little longer at this point, because your heart needs to rest in this truth for a while. Many grow weary on the spiritual journey, not because the path is too long, but because they forget they do not walk alone. They forget there is help, there is order, there is care, even when everything seems silent. When you feel overwhelmed, thinking everything depends only on your strength, that does not come from the Father. The Father calls you to responsibility, yes, but never to crushing weight. He teaches you to act with wisdom, to choose with discernment, and at the same time invites you to rest. This rest is not abandoning the fight. It is mature trust. It is knowing you do your part while heaven does what only it can do. Many live exhausted because they try to control tomorrow, predict everything, avoid every mistake. I tell you with tenderness, learn to surrender what is not in your hands. There are battles that do not belong to you. There are times that do not depend on your urgency. There are answers that arrive only when your heart is prepared to receive them without losing itself. This understanding changes the way you live. You begin to wake with more serenity, to react with less impulsiveness, to choose gentler words, to trust the process more. And little by little, you realize that fear loses strength as trust grows. Tonight, before you sleep, do something simple. Give thanks. Not only for what went right, but also for what did not happen. Trust that there was care even in that. This exercise aligns your heart with the truth of heaven and prepares you for the next steps. Son, daughter, keep going, persevere, trust. The Father does not make mistakes. Heaven does not sleep, and you are deeply loved. Son, daughter, peace be with you. I'm still here with the same gentleness because this point needs to be understood with balance and truth. Heaven's care was never an invitation to distraction, and the presence of angels was never meant to replace your conscience, your responsibility, or your daily choices. The Father's love sustains, but it also trains. He protects, but he also calls you to watchfulness. When Paul wrote to the Thessalonians in 1 Thessalonians, he said something simple and profound. Pray without ceasing. He wasn't talking about non-stop words, but about a connected life. Prayer, my child, is not only kneeling at certain times, it's living with an attentive heart, sensitive, awake. It's carrying God with you in the small decisions and the big ones. And when he wrote to the Colossians, in Colossians, he spoke about continuing steadfastly in prayer, staying alert in it with thanksgiving. To stay alert means to stay awake, not to live on autopilot, not to let soul weariness make you careless about what enters your heart, your mind, your thoughts. Son, there are things heaven does and there are things that belong to you, the angel guards, but you choose where you walk. Heaven warns, but you decide whether you listen. The Father protects, but you must learn to say no to what pulls you away from life. This partnership is part of love. God does not treat you like a puppet, but like a child. Many want protection without watchfulness, deliverance without change, help without commitment. But true love calls you to growth. When I tell you, do not be afraid, I am not calling you to recklessness, but to conscious trust. When I tell you, I am with you, I am not canceling your responsibility. I am strengthening you to live it with wisdom. Today, many live distracted. Minds always busy, hearts always rushing, souls always tired. Feeds that never quiet down, news that fuels fear, comparisons that steal peace. All of this weakens inner watchfulness, not because these things are, by themselves, evil, but because they take the place of the silence where God speaks. That's why constant prayer is a return to the center. It doesn't have to be long, it has to be sincere. A surrendered thought, a quiet request, a simple thank you, a guide me, a hold me up. This posture keeps your heart sensitive and helps you notice when something is not coming from the light. The practice I leave you today is this. Create small moments of pause. Before you answer a difficult message, breathe and surrender. Before you make an impulsive decision, ask the Father. Before you sleep, review your day with mercy, not accusation. Learn to stay watchful without anxiety, to pray without guilt, to trust without passivity. Son, daughter, watchfulness doesn't steal your peace, it protects it. Prayer doesn't trap you, it sustains you. And the Father's love never fails to lead you when your heart remains attentive. I am here. Do not be afraid. Love is the way. Son, daughter, peace be with you. I remain here, and now I speak with you about something many avoid, but that every heart at some point quietly contemplates: death. Not as a frightening end, but as a passage. I want you to listen calmly, without fear, because what the Father has prepared for His own is wrapped in care, presence, and love, even to the very last moment. I know that through life you have lost people. I know you have felt the emptiness left by those who departed. I know the unknown unsettles you. But let me tell you with tenderness and truth, no one who belongs to the Father crosses the final valley alone. The psalmist declared with confidence in Psalm 23, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Notice, my child, it doesn't say, "if I walk," but "even though I walk." It is a passage that belongs to the human journey, but the promise is not the absence of the valley. It is the presence of God within it. When I spoke to my disciples, I never hid this reality, but I also never allowed fear to have the final word. In Luke 16, something precious is revealed. When the beggar died, he was carried by angels, not abandoned, not forgotten, carried. There are hands that receive. There is care even in the passage. Son, the angel who accompanied you in life does not step away at your last breath. Heaven does not get distracted at the most delicate moment of your existence. When the body's strength fades, when breathing grows fragile, when the visible world begins to recede, the unseen world draws near with even greater clarity. I know many fear that moment because of pain, judgment, the unknown. But listen closely. For those who trust the Father, death is not abandonment. It is encounter. It is not a fall into emptiness. It is a guided passage. It is not loneliness. It is being received. This does not cancel the sadness of those who remain. Grief is real, and love feels absence. I myself wept in the face of death. I understand your tears. But I want you to know that on the other side of pain, there is peace. There is continuity. There is life that does not go out. This truth transforms how you live today. When you know death is not the end, you stop living in panic. You begin to value love more than accumulation, forgiveness more than pride, presence more than haste. You begin to live with meaning. The practice I leave you today is simple but deep. Live in a way that does not fear the end. Reconcile when possible. Forgive when it is hard. Love while there is time. Don't delay acts of affection. Don't hold back words of reconciliation. This brings peace now and prepares your heart for what comes after. Son, daughter, I will be with you in the last step, just as I was in the first. Do not be afraid. Love is the way, here and beyond. Son, daughter, peace be with you. I'm still here, and now I speak with you about something that reveals the Father's heart in a profound way. His patience. Many imagine him eager to judge, quick to condemn, ready to shut doors. But the Father is long-suffering. He waits. He calls. He offers time as an expression of love. Peter wrote clearly in 2 Peter that the Lord is not slow as some think, but is patient, not wanting anyone to perish, but for all to come to repentance. My child, this reveals something precious. The time you still have is grace. Each day is an invitation. Each breath is an opportunity. When I was on the cross, in the midst of pain, injustice, and extreme suffering, there was a man beside me, a man who had done wrong, who carried real guilt and real consequences. And yet, in that final moment, something lit up within his heart. He looked at me and said, "Remember me." And I answered him, as recorded in Luke 23. "Today, you will be with me in paradise." Son, feel the depth of that. There was no time to fix everything, no deeds to present, only a heart turning with sincerity. This does not diminish the value of a righteous life, but it reveals that the Father's love reaches even the final moments. While there is life, there is a call. While the heart can respond, there is hope. This is not permission to postpone change, nor an invitation to spiritual negligence. On the contrary, it is an urgent and loving call. Do not harden your heart. Do not leave for tomorrow what needs to be surrendered today. Repentance is not humiliation. It is liberation. It is not shame. It is returning to the embrace. Many carry old guilt, wrong choices, words they wish they could erase, and they live as if there is no way back. I tell you with tenderness, while your heart beats, the Father has not given up on you. Evil tries to convince you it's too late. Love tells you there is still time. This last grace doesn't need to happen only at the end of life. It can happen now, when you decide to stop, when you acknowledge, when you turn back, when you say, "Father, here I am." Heaven responds to that movement with quiet joy, with gradual restoration, with peace that begins within. Today, the practice I leave you is a gentle examination of the heart, not to accuse yourself, but to be truthful. Ask yourself, what have I been postponing out of fear? What change do I know I need to make but keep pushing away? What apology have I not yet had the courage to offer? Start small. One step, one conversation, one sincere prayer. Son, daughter, do not live as if time were infinite, but also do not live as if it has already run out. Live aware, live awake, live reconciled. I am here. Do not be afraid. While there is life, love is calling. Son, daughter, peace be with you. I'm still here walking with you patiently because this teaching needs to be received slowly, like someone learning to breathe again after a long time of tension. Today I speak with you about something the world often despises, but that carries a quiet strength capable of transforming entire battles. Humility of heart and holiness lived in everyday life. Evil makes a lot of noise. It tries to intimidate, confuse, accuse, inflate the ego, or crush self-worth. But there is something it cannot stand. It cannot stand a heart that is humble before the Father. It cannot stand a soul that chooses truth without needing to exalt itself. It cannot stand someone who recognizes their limits and still trusts. James wrote plainly in James, "Submit yourselves to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you." Notice, my child, it does not say shout, it does not say attack, it does not say go to war with hatred. It says submit yourselves to God. True resistance begins with surrender. Submission to the Father is not weakness, it is spiritual positioning. Peter also wrote in 1 Peter that we should humble ourselves under the mighty hand of God, so that in due time He may lift us up. Humility does not shrink you, it protects you, it aligns you, it closes doors that pride keeps open. Son, evil feeds on wounded pride, vanity, constant comparison, and the need to prove your worth all the time. The world pushes you to compete, to perform, to appear, but the kingdom of God grows in the hidden place, in the simple, in the faithful. Holiness is not unreachable perfection. It is the daily choice for what builds life. When you choose to speak the truth with love, even when you could lie to benefit yourself, that is holiness. When you choose not to retaliate, even when you are right, that is humility. When you admit a mistake and ask forgiveness, that is spiritual strength. Each of these choices creates light, and where light remains, darkness cannot endure. Many think winning spiritual battles requires complex rituals, difficult words, or outward displays. I tell you, what wins unseen battles are unseen decisions, what no one sees but the Father knows. Character formed in silence, faithfulness when there is no applause, integrity when it would be easier to give in. Today, the practice I leave you is deep and simple. Watch your reactions. Where have you been reacting with pride? Where have you been defending your image more than the truth? Where have you resisted asking for help or admitting limits? Do not condemn yourself. Just surrender it. Humility begins when we stop fighting to appear strong. Holiness is also built by guarding what you consume: words, images, conversations, thoughts. Not everything that is allowed is beneficial. Learn to choose what brings lasting peace, not only momentary relief. This strengthens your spirit and makes your heart a place where light remains. Son, daughter, when you walk in humility, you are not unprotected, you are guarded. When you choose holiness, you are not trapped, you are free. Evil retreats not before noise, but before steady light. If this podcast has been helping you grow, reflect, and walk with more awareness, subscribe so you can follow the next episodes. Let's walk together. There is still so much love, teaching, and comfort to share. I am here. Do not be afraid. Love is the way. Son, daughter, peace be with you. I arrive with you at this final part not as one who ends a path, but as one who lights a lamp so you can keep walking with more clarity. Everything I have shared with you up to this point has one simple and deep purpose: to help you remember. Many suffer not only because of the pain they face, but because they have forgotten they do not walk alone. The writer of Hebrews recorded a promise the Father has never broken: I will never leave you nor forsake you. This is not a sentence for emotional moments, it is an eternal commitment. And when the prophet spoke in Isaiah, saying, Do not be afraid, for I am with you, he was speaking to a weary people, afraid of the future, surrounded by uncertainty, very much like the world you live in today. Since living as if you were alone impoverishes your soul, it makes you carry weights that are not yours. It hardens you where you were meant to trust. It makes you react with fear where you could respond with faith. But when you remember that care, presence, and love are sustaining your story, something changes inside. The heart slows down. The mind finds rest. Decisions become wiser. Many live exhausted because they try to be strong all the time. But I never asked you to be invincible. I asked you to trust. The strength that is born from trust is different from the strength that is born from pride. It is steady. It does not shout. It perseveres. And that strength grows when you remember that heaven does not get distracted from you. Remembering is not denying pain. It is walking through it accompanied. Remembering is not escaping responsibility. It is carrying it with hope. Remembering is not living detached from reality. It is living aware that more is happening than your eyes can see. When you feel alone, remember. When fear speaks loudly, remember. When guilt tries to define you, remember. When the future feels too heavy, remember. Remember that you have been cared for from the beginning. Remember that your prayers rise. Remember there is protection on the path. Remember that death is not abandonment. Remember there is still time. Remember that humility guards your heart. This remembering produces perseverance, and perseverance sustains faith on ordinary days when there are no visible miracles, but there are important choices being made in silence. The final practice I leave you is this: create memorials in your day-to-day life, small pauses to remember the Father's care, a written phrase, a moment of gratitude, a simple habit of prayer. These gestures keep your faith alive even when emotions fluctuate. Son, daughter, if this message brought comfort, clarity, or hope to your heart, like it and share it so more people can be reached. Many walk wounded, thinking they are alone, when in fact they are deeply loved. I am here. Do not be afraid. Love is the way, yesterday, today, and forever.